Illegal weapons have flooded our city streets. Out-of-state gun runners have made it all too easy for anyone to acquire an illegal gun if their price is right. It is our job as professional police officers to legally detect and remove guns by arresting the offenders. This important task ensures the public safety. The police officer's responsibility of observing and safely apprehending offenders with concealed firearms is not an easy task. To be effective, your powers of observation must be sharpened. What makes certain officers so effective in locating illegal guns? The following scenarios are actual arrests made by members of the service.
Hi, I'm Detective Michael Henrique. I'm with the Firearms Investigation Unit. On September 8, 2006, myself, Detective John Caldwell, and Detective Louis Delapizzi of the Firearms Investigation Unit were conducting operations in the 8-1 precinct. At the corner of Ralph Avenue and Halsey Street, we observed an individual who was walking rather nervously. He was looking around, not sure where he was, and had started to adjust an object in his right waistband. We approached this individual and identified ourselves as police officers. As Detective Caldwell got out of the vehicle, the subject began to flee. After a brief distance, we observed this guy take a firearm from his right waistband side and throw it to the ground. After a short distance, we were able to apprehend him. Recovered from the area was a .380 cal firearm. The subject was brought back to the 8-1 precinct for arrest processing and subsequent debriefing.
The courts have determined that before you forcibly stop a person, you must have reasonable suspicion that the person has committed a crime, is committing a crime, or is about to commit a crime. A frisk is permitted only when you reasonably believe that the person you have stopped is armed with a weapon.
How you doing? My name is Sergeant Radimus Ferrato, currently assigned to the Midtown North Precinct. During the month of March 2003, I was assigned to the Brooklyn North Gang Squad, and I was working with Sergeant Frank Guarino and my partner, Detective Chris Burns. We were in the confines of the 8-1 precinct, and we were approaching the corner of Marion Street and Patchen Avenue. And this location is a known blood location. It's known for its violence and it's known for its drug territory. As we were approaching the corner, we can see that this male black was dressed all in red, hanging out in front of the bodega. We can see that he was adjusting his waistband, acting very nervous, looking at us, looking into the store, and then turning again, looking at us. And as we decided to make the U-turn, we can see that he was walking into the corner store and turning around to see where I was. Once I exited the vehicle and walked into the store, he then turned around again, looked at me, the whole time with his hands in his waistband, adjusting or trying to remove something from his waistband. As we got towards the rear of the store, I got closer to him and he wound up firing one shot, striking himself in the leg, and afterwards throwing a gun in a bin filled with potato chips. My partner, along with Sergeant Frank Guarino, were able to apprehend him outside the location.
The street scenarios are good examples of how sharp observation skills can identify a concealed weapon. Always remember that observation skills plus a sound technical plan will keep you safe and will help you apprehend dangerous suspects. If further investigation is needed to determine who was in possession of a weapon, DNA procedures require that evidence collection team retrieve the weapon and send it to the police lab for DNA processing. Gun carriers do telegraph signs that they are armed. Keep in mind that the following indicators by themselves do not necessarily constitute legal grounds for a frisk. A suspicious bulge at the waistline, under a shirt or a jacket. The outline of a gun in a pocket. A shirt worn on the outside under a sport coat. Inappropriate clothing, such as a long rain jacket worn on a clear day. A tilted shopping bag. A zipper pouch cradled in hand that appears unusually heavy. The carrying of an elongated package that could contain a rifle or shotgun. A suspect walking with a stiff leg could indicate a long gun concealed in a pant's leg. A suspect running with his hands in his pocket. A suspect subconsciously touching and adjusting a gun at his waist. A suspect abruptly walking off as police approach. These factors, when coupled with other information you have at the time of the stop, determine whether reasonable suspicion exists. To ensure your safety, when confronting suspects who might be armed, use these crucial tactics. If you reasonably suspect that you are approaching an armed suspect, don't be afraid to have your firearm drawn. Be especially careful if the suspect attempts to turn his back toward you. He may be trying to conceal that he is reaching for a weapon. Don't let the suspect out of your sight. If he ducks behind a parked car, he is probably going to dump the weapon, or he may be about to fire on you. If the suspect breaks and runs, be especially careful if he enters a building or turns a corner. Make sure that you take a wide turn in case he is waiting to ambush you. When approaching a suspect or in a foot pursuit, use available cover and concealment to your advantage. You have a radio. Use it. Use it to summon assistance. If a suspect is being placed under arrest, take control and handcuff the prisoner quickly. Do not let the suspect divert your attention by engaging you in conversation. When frisking a suspect, do your job thoroughly. Don't be shy about going into the crotch area. Don't forget the possibility of an ankle holster or a small derringer inside a wallet or a boot. If you find a gun, don't stop looking. Some people carry 2 or more guns. When transporting a prisoner, don't be satisfied by the fact that someone else says that the prisoner has been properly frisked. Frisk the prisoner yourself before he goes into the vehicle to ensure your safety. During a car stop, watch the suspect's shoulders. They will dip if he attempts to slide a weapon under the seats. In autos, weapons are most frequently found under the seats, in the glove box, in the consoles, or in pockets in the doors. Weapons in autos are also found in hidden compartments, behind dashboards, in the trunk, behind the back seat, or in doorposts. Suspects in autos sometimes keep their weapons on their person or sit on them. Remember, if further investigation is needed to determine who was in possession of a weapon, DNA procedures require that evidence collection team retrieve the weapon and send it to the police lab for DNA processing. Take control. Use a command voice. Do not let the suspect control the situation. Watch his hands. He can't shoot you if his hands are empty. Remember that these tips are just that, tips. Tactical decisions must be made by the individual officers who are on the scene.